Hi everyone, Sabrina here with a book review. This one is The Girl and the Stars by Mark Lawrence. I was sent this copy from the author, so thank you very much, Mr. Lawrence. I'm very, very touched that I was given this one when it wasn't this one you were offering. But obviously I'm going to do a full review for this. This will be spoiler free. So if you've not read this series, then you're doing okay. This is book one in the Book of Ice trilogy. The third one is just coming out, and actually that was the one that was being offered to review. And in this we follow Yaz. We follow Yaz as she is on a quest basically to find her brother. In this world, all the tribes of the land live on the ice, and they all meet up every so often for like a testing ritual. And the priests decide who gets to stay on the ice and who is thrown down into the pit. And Yaz believes it's going to be her because she's not like everybody else in her tribe. She sees the river on the ice, and she can draw it from its power. So she knows she's different. People know she's not like them. So she's fully aware that she's going to be thrown down this pit. And she's kind of a bit gutted about that because she does like a boy. You know, she's going to miss her family. But it's like, I'm doing what needs to be done in order to keep our tribe safe. And the priests come to her and say, no, we're going to keep you. We like you. You have power. You have potential. And instead they throw her brother down into the pit, which for Yaz is just like, no, he did not deserve that. And she leaps into the pit after him. And what follows is what happens down in that pit, where Yaz discovers that the world is not as she's been told, that there is more political shenanigans going on, that there are lies and secrets being kept, and that there's a lot more darkness in the world than just the sun not rising. I feel like this is like a future sci-fi, but I wasn't quite sure how this fell in its location, because obviously this whole world that they know of is covered in ice, and I'm like, well, hold on, is this like prehistoric? And then I'm thinking, no, this can't be prehistoric, so I'm going to go with it. Is this a fantasy world? But yeah, at times I was reading it thinking, is this actually based on our world or not? I really wasn't sure to start off with, and then I sort of plumbed for it and said, okay, no, this has definitely got elements of science fiction and fantasy in here. And as you read it, you kind of understand why I came to that conclusion. I have to admit, Yaz, she's kind of resigned to her fate to start off with. She knows that she's not going to be allowed to live. She's too different. And then when she's given that opportunity to continue and to rescue her brother, she sort of really shines in her loyalty for her brother. I mean, she doesn't have much for her parents because obviously they've kind of resigned that they're going to lose their children at some point. But she's very, very loyal to her brother and will do anything to protect him and to save him. And you really see that coming through. She's impetuous though. She's rash. She does make bad choices which end up becoming, things that could have been avoided. So she's not perfect. She's not like Rey in Star Wars. She has flaws, which is really good. This is a grimdark story. This world is brutal and cruel, and there's not much hope in it other than what you can take. It's one of Mark Lawrence's gentler grimdark stories though, so if you want to dip your toe in a little bit, this might be the trilogy to start rather than like his Red Sister series. I liked the supporting characters. There's a huge range of them in here. Some are very good, some are pretty horrible people, and it's really interesting to see how the society that Yaz finds herself in has kind of formed around these individuals. I don't want to give too much away about the plot, but I will say I did get a point kind of in the middle where it felt like Yaz was just walking down one corridor and then down another corridor, and then this happened, and then she was down another corridor, and then that happened. There was a lot of like Doctor Who episode 5 feeling going on in the middle of the book, and it's like, come on, I want to kind of move on from corridor and thing and corridor and thing. I want something more to happen. So I did feel a little bit of that, but it really helps set up how this world works, what it's like below the ice, and actually just how brutal and how tough you have to be in order to survive it. And I think the trials that Yaz goes through certainly makes her realise that she's got to toughen up. She's got to find a way in order to survive and save her brother. This is obviously the first in a trilogy, but it ends on the most frustrating cliffhanger ever, and thank goodness I can just go out and buy the second book, because the way that this one ends is just like, no, you literally cannot leave it there. Think like the ending of Catching Fire, kind of that sort of ending, the film version, where you just think, oh, no, you can't do that. It's just, no, that's cruel, that's wrong. But then I suppose that's very fitting for the world that we are reading about. It's not fair, and as a reader you have to deal with it. So there is that. I have to say, I have been looking at getting this book for some time. I've just never got around to it. I don't know why, because it is very beautiful. Mine shimmers a little bit, which you probably can't quite see, but there's definitely hidden shimmer in here. It's quite a heavy book, literally a heavy book. We're nearly at 500 pages. So, you know, it's a proper full-blown detailed fantasy story. And I really liked it, actually. I did like it. I thought Yaz really made you stick with it. Because I liked her so much, and it's kind of like I'm following her. I want to know how she survives, how she deals with this, how she is possibly going to step into her chosen role that everybody seems to be going on about with her. And she's like, I know, I'm not doing that. You know, it's all about finding a brother for her. So I really liked her sheer determination that I'm not going to be your chosen one. I'm just Yaz, and I'm rescuing my brother. That's really nice. There is some really interesting sci-fi concepts that go on in this book. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Which was literally kind of out of the blue. You've gone through this kind of like tense, almost horror-like aspect, and then suddenly we were in this really like sci-fi futuristic area, which is why I would say it's a science fiction fantasy rather than just a plain fantasy story, because it's got those elements. And there's definitely some horror moments in here, which I don't want to spoil, but there are some concepts that are pretty horrific and grim. Yaz does get to experience some of that straight away in the book, but even later on it's all kind of there in the background, or it's alluded to, and it's like, okay, you know, that's not pretty. There is kind of a romance, very vaguely going on. It's not pushed. It's more of a coming of age, realizing that emotions are happening and how do I deal with that. So it's not full blown I love you. No, that's not really going to happen. Yeah. Like I said, I don't want to say too much and spoil it, because there's a lot that does happen. There are a few twists. There are certain moments where you think, oh, yeah, okay, that's happened now. So it's definitely one of those books that does keep you on your toes, which is kind of nice, because otherwise you would feel like you knew where this was going, and it doesn't kind of do that, which is good. Right there. So Girl on the Stars. Have you read it? Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know. Again, no spoilers though for people who haven't read it. The third book, as I said, has just about come out. So you need to go and find that on your bookshelves, or order from independent bookshops. And let me know your thoughts down below. I think I said that already though. Usual MacGuffins in the box down below this screen, and me waffling on something terrible. You know, go and check out other YouTubers, please, and people who can string a sentence much better than I can. I'm really bad today. This is so bad. As always, thank you very much for watching, and happy reading. Be well.